All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 11th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. Let's take a look at the markets, see what happened yesterday, see how we can make some profits today. First, we'll do a little summary. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning is going to be 679.55 above, and I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5, except for IWM, made higher highs and higher lows, closing over their traps and over their 17 EMAs. IWM made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap, but under the 17 EMA. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Gold in a daily downtrend, but made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. A little pop-up there. Silver in a daily uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. USO in a downtrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bearish trap and over the 17. UNG in a daily uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. UNG in an uptrend, still down there in quadrant 1. US dollar index remains in an uptrend, closed near the 99.64 area. SPY max pain 679. Put to call ratio 1.1 for each call, 1.1 put for each call that expires today at 4:15. If this is your first time being here, all of these are in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these under the bears column are in 17-minute, are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they have a little star, they're building out a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they have a little star over here, they're building out a platform from which to dip lower. Okay, so we'll see how this goes this morning. All right, let's take a look at the markets. Here's SPY. Take a look at the 10-minute. You can see we've got the 3 EMA, which is the yellow line. That's the thin yellow line right up here. Thin yellow line on the 10-minute chart. Candlesticks riding on top of the 3 EMA. All right, we got the 3 EMA, and just below that we have the 8 EMA. Just below that we have the 17, which is represented by these green dots. Okay, so price action. All right, we've got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. We have a 10-minute uptrend. So you can see the 3 is pointed up, the 8 is pointed up, the 17 is pointed up. All over this burnt brown line right here, this is VWAP, all up over VWAP. What did we trade yesterday? Well, we traded a 10-minute uptrend that ripped for probably about 10 minutes up here over VWAP. All right, and then it pulled back. We traded a 10-minute downtrend under VWAP, and then we traded the cross right here, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP right there. Okay, came up through VWAP, broke the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle, traded that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. That's what we traded yesterday. On the 2-hour chart, okay, we've got the candlesticks on top of the 3 EMA right here. The 3 EMA is over the 8 EMA. That's the white line right there. Okay, you've got daylight between the 3 and the 8. We have both the 3 and the 8 are pointed up, so we have a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, now my favorite setup is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside the daily uptrend, that lives inside the weekly uptrend, that lives inside the monthly uptrend, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP. So here's the all-time high. There's the anchored VWAP, the pink line. So I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend over this all-time high anchored VWAP. Since we've got the 2-hour in an uptrend, daily's in an uptrend, weekly's in an uptrend, monthly's in an uptrend. All I need is 10-minute to be in an uptrend. Okay, so we'll take a look at that a little bit later. All right, so here we are with SPY. We have support here All right, we had an igniting move, reversal from down here. We look for price to pull back and find support. It looks like it may have found support right here, right on the bottoms of this base or consolidation right through here. We'll see what happens and look for another move up. 1, 2, 3 to the upside. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's the 2-hour chart. Daily chart. Let's zoom way out. You can see price action from the April low up to the all-time high. We're up here at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, and you can see price made a higher high, so we're now back into an uptrend. See how we made a lower low? See the low right there? We made a lower low. That put us in a downtrend. Well, we came back and made a higher high right here. See, we got the high poking up over the 17. So now we're back into a daily uptrend. So we've got SPY is bullish and in an uptrend on the daily chart. Weekly chart, you can see candles riding on the 3. 3 is over the 8. Daylight between the two of them. They're both pointed up. The 17 is pointed up. We have a weekly uptrend. Monthly chart. Okay, again, candlesticks riding the 3. 3 is over the 8. 8 is over the 17. All 3 are pointed up. Okay, so we've got a monthly uptrend. Okay, it's signified by these green dots right through there. Okay, so we've got all the bigger time frames in an uptrend. Counter trend would be trading short or buying puts, directional puts in the market for pullback. So we'll see what happens. So there's SPY, monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend, daily uptrend, 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute we left off with an uptrend. We'll see what it's doing this morning. It's probably pulling back, trying to find some support and from which to rip higher. We'll see what happens with that. Okay, let's take a look at QQQ. We'll back to the daily chart one more time. Okay, you can see price action on the daily puts in a higher low and a higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17, and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so that's bullish up there. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ, same deal, higher low, higher high, closing over the bearish trap, over the 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, top of quadrant 4. Here's the April low. That's bullish, still in an uptrend. Nothing's broken yet, okay? Not in an uptrend. Still in a downtrend, but not, still in a downtrend, but moving up recently, okay? So QQQ still in a downtrend because we got a low here. We made a lower low. We've yet to make the higher high yet, okay? Could happen sometime today, maybe later this week. We'll see. So QQQ still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at FNG. Well, let's look at QQQ on the 10-minute. 10-minute, got a 10-minute uptrend. You can see the 3 over the 8. We've got daylight between the two. They're both pointed up. So we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close on QQQ. 2-hour, you can see the candlesticks riding on top of the 3. 3 over the 8. Both of them are pointed up. We've got a 2-hour uptrend coming into the close yesterday on QQQ. QQQ daily chart, like I said, in a downtrend due to the fact they made a lower low right here. Weekly chart, still in an uptrend. I'll zoom out. You can see we've got the 3 riding on top of the 8 over the 17. You've got daylight between the two of them. All right, and then you can see they're both pointed up, all 3 of them. The 3 EMA, the 8 EMA, the 17 EMA, all pointed up. Weekly uptrend. Monthly, same deal. Candlesticks riding on top of the 3. 3 is over the 8. 8 is over the 17. You can see everything pointed up. Got daylight between the 3 and the 8. It's pointed up. Daylight between the 8 and the 17. It's pointed up. Okay, so you've got QQQ monthly uptrend right there. All right, let's take a look at IWM. Okay, here's the Russell 2000. We've got a higher low, higher high, closing over a bearish trap. Closing under the 17 EMA. Closing under the all-time, well, the second attempt at the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay, so we're in a downtrend still. See, here's a low below the 17. Okay, we made a lower low, so we're still in a downtrend, but up in quadrant 4, middle of quadrant 4. That's still bullish up there, but we're just moving in the wrong direction right now, having a little pullback right now. Okay, and we're under the all-time high. Well, not the all-time high anchored VWAP, but the second attempt for the all-time high anchored VWAP. So there's IWMs. Take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow closing, making a higher high, higher low, closing over a trap, closing over the 17, closing over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Top of quadrant, they did. Let's see if they made a downtrend. We got a high here. They made a lower low. Did we make a higher high? They're still in a downtrend until they take out this peak right here. Okay, still in a downtrend. Well, this kind of a move down. Still haven't made like a downtrend here. We got a one candle downtrend right here. So they broke that low. That puts them in a downtrend. So Diamond Dow still in a downtrend technically. Top of quadrant 4. That's bullish, but in a downtrend currently on Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU makes a lower low, so that's a downtrend for them. See, there's a low below the 17. They made a lower low, so there's a downtrend for FNGU. Yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over the 17 and over the trap and over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Big rip yesterday for FNGU. All right, so they're still in a downtrend until they take out, well, the all-time high, because they came down here and they took out that low. So we'll see what they're going to do. That's FNGU. Take a look at gold. All right, gold, higher low, higher high, closing over the trap, over the 17. They are still in a downtrend until they take out this high. Okay, so no cigar yet. All right, still in a downtrend. Good news is last 4 candles not moving down, moving up. So downtrend that's not working, and at the top, in the middle of quadrant 4. Okay, so here's our pullback. Here's our low up to our all-time high. You can see in the middle of quadrant 4 up here. That's still bullish, but in a downtrend that's not moving down. Silver is in an uptrend on the daily chart. Silver got a little higher high, higher low, closing over bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver making a higher low, and there's a high. They made a higher high, so silver in an uptrend and bullish up here at the middle of quadrant 4. You can see the low way back here, quadrant 4, so that's bullish and in an uptrend for silver. Take a look at UNG. UNG still down here in quadrant 1. Okay, so that's still bearish, but it is moving up, making a higher low and a higher high. I would expect UNG to come up here to probably see this downtrend line from this last high. Actually, I'd probably move this over to here. Okay, so I would expect UNG to make an attack on the $15 area. So got a little bit of juice coming in today. Got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candle hold. Look for that to pop either today, tomorrow, sometime this week. Go up there and tag the all-time high anchored VWAP. Okay? If it gets on top, if it climbs on top of it and holds for another 5 candles, that's really good news. Then you could possibly see price come back up here to the midpoint. That would be exciting to see that. Okay? But I got a feeling this UNG rally is due to some cold weather. So there's UNG on the daily chart. Yesterday's candle, lower high, lower low, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 on UNG. Still in bearish territory down here, okay? Still in bearish territory. Nothing says they can't have a pullback. Okay, so USO. All right, USO, you can see right here, this would be the lower third. That would be bearish. This is the upper third. That would be bullish. They're in the middle, so they're just neutral. Okay, they got a low. They made a lower low, so they're in a downtrend. hanging out here at the midpoint and the 3-year high anchored VWAP. That's our post-COVID high anchored VWAP right up there. Okay, you can see USO is yet to hold a higher highs for anything longer than 3 to 4 days. You can see they get up there, and it's like they got ADD. They just kind of wander around, and then they come back down. It's like they forget the whole time why they got up there. So there's USO in the midpoint right here, just neutral, but in a downtrend. Let's take a look at our technicals, T2101. Yesterday the market rallied, and look what the market breadth did. It decreased yet again. Okay, so we kind of want the other direction. We want to see market participation, market breadth increase as we go higher, not decrease. Okay, which tells me for the majority of them, they're just stripping profits on the rallies. All right, they're just or buying puts. I don't know. That's what it kind of tells me on T2101. All right. So there's T2101, T2122 yesterday. You can see we rallied out of the midpoint up to the buy zone up here into the buy zone. Lost it, came back, found a higher low. All right here in the buyer's chop zone, and managed to fight our way back up to the buy zone near the end of the day on T2122. Little bullish action in the NYSE unweighted stocks. Okay, T2123. Still find ourselves under the 200 SMA. Okay, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. We did break this downtrend line. Nothing says it doesn't belong out here, but we did break this downtrend line. We did bullish gap up. Notice they couldn't fill the gap. Bullish gap up, unable to fill the gap, gives you a clue that we're going to be bullish for the day. T2123, when they fail to fill gap. So you can see price action just grind up all day long. Now, did they make a higher high? Not really. They're still in a downtrend. They needed to take out these highs right here. They failed to do it, so they're still stuck in a downtrend that's currently not moving down. So you can see they're all the way down here from the all-time high, making a lower low. Here's a low. They made a lower low, puts them in a downtrend till they can make a higher high. They still haven't done it. Down here at the bottom of quadrant 1, that's bearish, all right, and still in a downtrend on the 15-minute chart, on the 3-bar chart. Okay, we've got highs right here over the 17. We still have not taken out those highs. We got some highs here, so we got all-time high, lower high, even lower high, and we have still not made a higher high on T2123 3-bar chart. Again, you can see we're well underneath the 200 SMA. Okay, so that's bearish. All right, to be underneath here. Okay, so again, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. So price action here on T2123 3-bar chart. We find ourselves breaking the downtrend again. Nothing says the trend doesn't belong out here. We'll see what happens. Bullish gap up. Yesterday not filled by the bears. So nice work for T2123 3-bar chart. Still a lot of work to do to make that higher high. Could be a couple weeks before we see, or a week or two. Maybe by the end of this week. We'll see. T2123 FNGU. Yesterday making, there's a high. They made a higher high, so that's an uptrend. On the 15-minute chart, we find ourselves on top of the flat 200 or the fading 200. Again, I like that. That's a nice move. Again, making the higher high, that puts us in an uptrend. You can see price action back up here over the prior consolidation. So that's a nice move. Notice the major support. See the valley here, the valley here, valley, 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 valley. Bouncing off of major support here to come back up and challenge the resistance right through here. So breaking through minor resistance. Like to see us pull back, J-hook off of there, and start climbing our way back up to test the triple top that happened on the 15-minute chart right up here. We've got ourselves a triple top. Like to see us run back up there and challenge that triple top. So that's FNGU. Let's take a look at the economic package. And for SPY Max Pain for today, we got 679 put to call ratio right over here. 1.1 put for each call that expires today. On the dollar index, if we look at the dollar index, we move down and over to the right. So we're still in the midst of this bear flag from the bigger perspective. Okay, so but we're in a daily uptrend because we're putting in we got a low here, we put in a higher low, and then we put in we got a high here, higher high, then another higher low, now another higher high, now another higher low. Okay, you can see then a higher high. Okay, so we're still in that uptrend. Needed to get up over this peak right here and hold the higher ground. Still hasn't been done. Possibly going to consolidate right through here and possibly stage a launch pad from which to launch higher, possibly break through the ceiling here for that bear flag, all right, that we're currently in. All right, so there's the dollar. We closed near about 99.71. Nope, down here, 99.65 area. Looks like 99.65 area last night. Okay, on the economic calendar, all right, this is like all messed up, okay, because we've got some stuff that's coming in delayed. We've got a shutdown. Supposedly the Senate has voted on the shutdown, and they've got something to hand to the House. Now the House has to look at it and vote on whatever the Senate handed down to the House. So still not out of a shutdown yet until the House passes or votes and passes something. So we'll see what happens with that. So we got a lot of data that's been not released. So we could see a release of the situation report. We could see a release of something else. We're supposed to get CPI on Thursday. I don't know if it's going to come or if it's not going to be delivered, if it's going to be delayed and released at another time. We'll see what happens. The main event this week is the CPI. But then again, if they take care of the shutdown and we start releasing a whole bunch of economic data, we could see a huge rally or a huge drop. So based on all of the data that they're about to release, once the shutdown is over and everybody gets back to work. For today, we got NFIB, Small Business Optimism Index. That's going to be come out at 8 o'clock. After that, it's really a light day. I'm pretty sure it's a holiday right today. So the bond market, I believe, I don't know, I believe the bond market is closed. All right, but I believe the markets are open today. Probably going to be light participation again today. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow, what do you got? We don't have much going on. Treasury buyback announcement, and that's it. All right, and then you can see Thursdays when everybody comes back to work. We got a petroleum report, CPI, jobless claims, all coming in on Thursday for earnings. Nothing this week as far as going to be market moving, but definitely going to help out the sectors. So you can see right here, nothing here over $100 billion. Right here, we've got, I think, a few over $100 billion. We've got $284 billion Cisco, and that's it. Again, they'll help out the sector. That's tomorrow night, Cisco. Thursday, what do we got? We've got Disney's going to report in the morning, $201 billion. Applied Materials, $187 billion. Mitsubishi Financial, $183 billion. Sumitomo, $106. Sumitomo Financial, $106 billion. Brookfield, 103 billion. Again, everything here is not going to be market disturbing, but it will help out their sectors or play an impact on their sectors. Okay, so you can see right here. This would be retail, Walt Disney. Friday we got again more Sony Corporation, but we don't even know if they're going to report. You see the dash. That's either morning or night. They don't even have the P&L put together, so they're not committed yet. Okay, so you can see everything on Friday. Nothing really could happen. All right, because nothing over $100,000 is going to is projected or committed to reporting. So there we go with earnings reports. All right, and I did Max Payne earnings reports, economic calendar. Again, we're waiting for more government data to come out, and it's up to them to put it together and when they're going to release it and if they're going to release it in a timely fashion. So we'll see what happens. So it's going to be a lot of data coming out at once. Could be a huge rally, could be a huge dip, could be extremely volatile. All right, so get prepared for a whole lot of volatility coming to you soon. All right, so how are we going to trade the markets this morning? So let's take a look at that. All right, let's put it with the pre-market on. Let's put SPY up there. All right, so SPY's got a pivot, and not sure why this program does this. It just moves this line around on me, but the SPY pivot is 679.55. Okay, so that above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. On game plan here for SPY, okay, so we got bulls. So green erases red right up here over 682.20. We have red erases green underneath 675.35. We got the pivot 679.55. Above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. We've got I like 3 days and 10 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest and the high liquidity. Trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Because they all go back to zero, if there's zero DTEs, okay, I have to take several strikes because as price moves to that strike and the day ends, I have to have something that's large enough for me to make profit in. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Currently, we have, yes, consolidation under consolidation. That's a bearish environment right there. We are moving up. So we'll see where far we're going to dip. You can see we're already in a 10-minute, looks like a 10-minute downtrend. Actually looks like 10-minute consolidation. I would look for a dip lower, probably to challenge the backside of this all-time high anchored VWAP. That would be my target there. And possibly even target, I'm just going to move this out of the way because it just keeps moving around on me. Okay, possibly even target the support right here at 674. So we'll see what happens today. Okay, probably a pullback to the all-time high anchored VWAP, which is currently 677.75, possibly back to 674 right here. So there's the SPY game plan. I'm going to trade a continuation of this 10-minute downtrend, 10-minute bear flag. Okay, so hopefully a breakout to the downside. Again, watch the first 15 minutes and probably trade the breakout. We'll see what happens this morning. So there's SPY. QQQ, same thing. Setting up the same way. Okay, you got consolidation under consolidation. Look for price action kind of failing to hold up over the all-time high anchored VWAP up here. Probably take this off. Okay, so price action down here. Look for them to pull back and find support right here at 616.90. All right, that's QQQ. That's our game plan. Same thing. 3 days and 10 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest and the liquidity. Strikes $2 to $15 out of the money, and 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, that's it for me this morning. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. We'll open up the markets and record it.